And when you do collaboration designs, the result that comes out needs to be something that neither side could have done on their own. We wanted to have more freedom. We wanted to see what could we do if we did something completely from scratch.
Today we're going to talk about your collaboration watches with some brands and also your original watch that you recently released. But before we dive into the watches, please introduce yourself to the Japanese audience.
Sure. Well, hello, Japan. My name is Mark Cho. I am co-founder of a menswear brand called the Armoury. And my main work is kind of in clothing and luxury retail and design. And watches have been a big passion of mine for the last 20 years. I've been a collector for 20 years. And over the last sort of 6-7 years, the Armoury has done a lot of projects with other watch brands, doing collaboration designs. And last year, end of last year, we released our own brand, which is called Temporal Works.
Okay.
So today we're going to show a few of the things that we've worked on with our friends' brands, as well as Temporal Works.
Okay.
Hida-san's watch was one of the earliest collabs we did. This was the first one we did. So we call this the letter cutter.
Yes.
You know, we've been very close with Hida-san since the very beginning. And I've always had a soft spot for the Type 2. Type 2 was actually probably the slowest selling of all the types when we first launched with Hida. And I felt like, I want to give Type 2 a special moment. You know, I love center seconds. I love the arrangement of that watch. Hida-san's watches, of course, are very well known for having hand-engraved numerals on the dial. And me and my design partner, Elliot Hammer, when we were thinking about, what do we want to do with Hida-san's watch as a collaboration, we thought about the old traditional craft of letter cutting. So, you know, before, when you wanted to have a sign for your business, right? You get a sign painter, right? They can paint a sign for you. Or if you have a stone building, you could letter cut. Like you could literally cut the letters of your business into the wall. And so we imagined a font, a typeface that was evocative of that. Like what would a letter cut font look like on a watch? And to us, it was like kind of very soft, gentle curves, but then also certain sort of sharp angles. It's a little bit of an Art Deco look as well. So we designed the font called the letter cutter font. And then we also reconfigured the dial. And so that was our first collaboration with Hida, the letter cutter.
I see. Yeah, this is very unique font. And also, I think when I saw the prototype, the outer minute ring was a little different, right?
Yeah, so what happened was, you know, Hida's dials are all multi-part dials, right? Like each component, like the dial has multiple components, and that allows you to do different finishing on the different components. So for the Type 2 dial, the chapter ring with the minute markings, that's separate from the rest of the dial. And when we did our hash marks, like our index lines for the minutes, we actually also added a little line on the base dial that went all the way to the edge of the case. And for the first version of this, for the first year of the letter cutter, we realized that that little extended line didn't show up well enough. And so we changed the design a little bit. The first version of this design had a very steep inner bezel that sat on top of the dial and connected to the edge of the case. And it kind of obscured the line too much. So we changed the angle of that inner bezel to be a little more angled downwards and hide a little bit less of the main dial. And then the lines show through now. So basically, like what you're seeing now is how we really envisioned the watch. And it's funny actually, because you know we did this release over 2 years. So if you are an owner of the first version, like we can retrofit the new inner bezel to the first version and make it like the second version. And I actually thought, oh well, everyone's going to want to switch to the second version. But I actually had a few customers who said, no, I want to keep like the original one, even though it's like got a little bit of a problem depending on how you look at it. I want to keep the first one. I was like, all right, okay. Yeah, I mean, we have a very good, very close relationship. I mean, I was just with Hida-san for dinner 2 nights ago, actually. You know, we're lucky that we we could grow our business together. You know, we were the first dealer for Hida-san, along with Kamine in Kobe, and you know, we have a good level of trust. And when you do collaboration designs, like it's really important that you have a mutual respect, a mutual understanding. Like the result that comes out needs to be something that neither side could have done on their own. It has to be something that both parties brought something to the table and created something new.
True, yeah.
Temporal Works we've been working on Temporal Works for about 3 years now. The beauty of collaborations is that you can rely on someone else's work. And that can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, right? It means that the paper is already half filled out.
Yes.
Right? And you just complete the other half of the piece of paper. And we wanted to have more freedom. We wanted to see what could we do if we did something completely from scratch, right?
I see.
So the first Temporal Works watch, called the Series A, is about my own little personal obsession with a very old Patek model called the 565.
Which we have it here.
I brought one today. I brought one today so you could see it and we could kind of talk about it in a little bit more detail. Like the 565 is one of those watches that looks great from the front.
Yes.
It's got this kind of monoblock style case, no bezel, and every time I see it from the front, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful, and it feels like it should be curvy. But actually, when you look at it in profile, it's not curvy. It's very, very like flat.
Yes.
You know, and that always disappoints me. Like the fact that it's so flat, the fact that like the screw back part of the case sticks out so much and doesn't really integrate very beautifully with the rest of the case, like really bothers me. And so I wanted to see what it would be like to make the great grandson of the 565 today. So that's what the Series A is all about.
I see. So everything started from the case.
For this watch, everything started from the case. Yes. I mean, you know, the 565, most people want the Breguet numeral one. Like the Breguet numeral one's really popular. It looks great. But you know, for us, like as a new brand, as a watch that's already taking a little bit of inspiration from a vintage watch, I didn't want to go with like the most popular dial possible, right? I wanted us to try something new and see where we could go with this project on our own, you know, not rely too much on the vintage inspiration. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's an inspiration, but it's not an homage, it's not a copy. It's just like a little route from where your thinking starts.
I see.
There's a few things that we thought about. I mean, obviously, I love that monoblock style. I think that's so cool. So we wanted to preserve that, of course. Second, I wanted the curvature of the watch to really come through. You know, especially because I work in clothing and I spend so much time thinking about things on the body, right? I always prefer watches that sit really close to the body, sit really close on the wrist. It feels more seamless with your body. Like the watches that I usually end up not wearing are the ones where it doesn't feel seamless to the body. It kind of sticks out too much. It kind of doesn't feel natural. And I wanted to make a watch that felt really natural on the body. So that was part of where the thinking for the curvature came from. We did increase the diameter of the watch slightly. So the old 565, I think, was about 35 millimeters. And then our one is 37. So we've upsized it slightly.
If we look closer to the dial, it's a sector dial, but very different way of...
Yeah, we did two versions of the dial. So we did a sector dial and we did what we call the fortune dial, which is basically a lacquer dial.
Yes.
And for the sector, you know, sector dials often can be very technical looking. Like they really look like scientific instruments, which is part of their charm. It's true. They look amazing like that. But because of how sculptural this case is, because how much this case is about kind of the overall shape and the overall lines rather than details of it, we wanted a dial that was also a little bit more minimal like that. And that's why we went with just, you know, bold sectors with some like just small pips here and there, but nothing like a full minute track with little numbers or anything like that. We'd tried it before when we were prototyping this watch, and It was fine. It just wasn't the right match for this case. That's
I see.
all.
I see. Maybe it looks too vintage.
It looks a little too vintage and busy for this case.
Oh,
If it was like a more classic style case, I think it'd be more appropriate. But ours is a little bit more kind of modern and simple.
I see. And also it has very interesting hands.
Yeah. So the hands are what we call pen nib hands. So the pen nib hands are like a fountain pen nib. Like the idea is that there's two sloping sides like this, and then a flat side in the middle, and then the flat part actually is matte finished, and it has a little hole in the center as well.
So it's very easy to read.
It's pretty easy to read, yeah. And then what I like also about having a little cutout is then you see the color of the dial come back at you through the hand, which is cool.
I see.
You know, we make the whole watch in Japan. The finish of the watch is tricky, and it's really important to us. Like, you probably could make a case like this in Switzerland, but it would be quite expensive to do so. You probably couldn't make a case like this in China because, yes, it'd be cheaper, but they wouldn't get to the level of finish that we really want, right? Like when you look at this watch, firstly, the lines have a nice definition. So I'm talking about like the line here at the edge of the case. I'm talking about the line between the flat part of where the bezel should be and the sloping part. And then also just the quality of polishing, right? Like when you look at yourself in this, you can see yourself in this watch, you know, like it's almost like a little mirror, and it doesn't distort. It's really like an undistorted, very, very well polished surface. Like if you think about what is kind of not so great polishing means if you have a mirror finish and you look at yourself, but then you see like there's like wobbles, like sort of unexpected distortions, that's when the polishing isn't as good as it could be. But that's something that we really tried to be careful of for our watch. I'm also quite proud of the bracelet, because the bracelet we do with Stab, the German mesh bracelet company. I really like working with them. They've always done a great quality product. And this is a super fine, thin version of their normal mesh bracelet. Because normally their mesh bracelet is actually quite a bit thicker. So this is thinner. It's also in 19 millimeters, which is a size they've never done before. And then with a butterfly clasp. And it's actually compatible with a lot of other watches. I actually have this on my Citizen from time to time because I really, I really like this watch. I really like this bracelet on other watches too. And you can buy it as an optional extra accessory.
Oh, great. So you have three dial color: the red, black, and blue. And which one is like most popular?
It's interesting. The blue is most popular online. I mean, everyone loves a good blue dial. But actually, a lot of people, after they see the black, they're like, oh, actually, I want the black. Because the black also on the bracelet is really, really nice. I love red watches. I kind of wish there were more red watches out there. And so when we had the chance to do our own, I was like, all right, let's do it. And it comes out really nicely in the lacquer. Because you know, with lacquer, like because you're laying many layers on, you have that really smooth, kind of almost watery surface, but also it has like a little bit of translucency, like almost a little bit of see-throughness to it. So the color is complex without being like loud.
I see.
Because also it's not like, if this was like a 42 millimeter huge red watch, right? That's a different thing. But this is like small dial, 37 millimeters, you know, it's gonna slip under a cuff. It's like a little accent, a little detail that just comes up every once in a while. It's not like they're in your face all the time.
True.
And that's kind of Temporal Works too.
And we also have another color
watch. So you're the first person to actually see these. You know, we've worked with Nigel Caborn. The Armoury has worked with Nigel Caborn for a long, long time. Unimatic has worked with Nigel Caborn in the past. And Unimatic and Nigel actually did have a collab watch a long time ago. It wasn't bad. It was a little big and maybe even a little expensive. So it was commercially not as great as it could have been. And I really wanted these two companies, who I like very, very much, to come together and do something again. And I did not have too much of a hand in this design. I gave people a little bit of like, hey, maybe try this, maybe try that, but I didn't really get too involved in the design process, because at the end of the day, this is really about Nigel and Unimatic. But I'm really happy with how this turned out. So it's the Modelo Cinque, which is their 36 millimeter case, which is very wearable. And the Armoury has actually done 2 Modelo Cinque collabs in the past that have turned out great.
I have the blue one.
The blue one is fantastic. Thank you. We actually still have a lot of people asking for the blue one. And we made a red one. So there you go, red watches and Mark Cho. But yeah, we fitted it with a quartz movement rather than a mechanical movement, so that it's a little bit more like, if you're not a huge watch person, you just want a good, reliable watch, like this will definitely fit the bill. Also, the price is a little bit more affordable. I really love the finish. So it's this thing called Cerakote. So it's like a ceramic finish, and then they age it. Like they basically just blast it until a little bit of the coating comes off and it exposes the steel underneath. And I think the look is great and it really suits Nigel. I mean, Nigel is really like a very military inspired brand, and this really suits Nigel's aesthetic. I love the color, kind of this sort of parchmenty sand sort of color for the indices, numerals. I don't know if you notice, but this was something that I wanted them to add in. So obviously there's red accents for Nigel and for the tip of the second hand. If you tilt the watch, the gasket that's sandwiched between the dial and the case is also orange. Just like a little extra touch, nothing too obvious.
Yeah, you can't see it from the front, but if you tilt a little bit,
right?
This is neat. Usually, I think brands try to hide the gasket, but playing with the gasket is, I think, a really cool idea.
I think so, right? Yeah. So super usable watch, obviously extremely waterproof, extremely robust, and I think it'll sell out fast. I think it's just cool. Like, you handle it, and it has that charm of any great simple watch, right? Any great tool watch always has this sort of charm to it. I also like that the quartz movement that we used is the sweeping quartz, not the like once every second.
That's why I didn't notice when you showed me first. I thought it was automatic. But,
I think there's a time and a place for quartz. Like the Royal Oak 34 millimeter quartz is one of my favorite watches ever. Sometimes you want to use quartz because you just need a movement that's a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner, and it's a two-hander. What does it matter? Like, you don't have to have a mechanical movement, in my opinion. Or if you want to hit a good price point, something that's more accessible for a lot of people, like quartz can sometimes be the answer. Quartz is interesting. Or if you want to go like deep down the quartz rabbit hole, right? Like what Citizen does with quartz, what Seiko does with quartz, also amazing. And I don't think anyone would say no to Spring Drive. Spring Drive technically is kind of a quartz movement.
True. So you have do you still have a lot of projects coming?
Yes.
You always have some stuff.
Yes, I do. So this year we will announce a new HIDA collaboration, which I'm very excited about. It's going to be really amazing.
It's a brand new?
It's a new one. It's a brand new one. We typically do a new HIDA collab about every 2 years. So we'll do like 10 pieces a year for 2 years, then move on to music.
So letter cutter is already discontinued?
Letter cutter has finished, sadly. Letter cutter is finished. Maybe one day we'll do a letter cutter too, but for the time being, it's finished.
I see.
Yeah. And but we have quite a few other brands who are going to work with us this year, and I wish I could tell you more, but I can't.
but what about Temporal Works? This is just the beginning.
Yes, this is just the beginning, and then the next generation of Temporal Works will take a slightly different direction. So still look like a Temporal watch. It still will be a Series A, but we're going to do some quite big modifications to it. Nice. So I would say stay tuned. Please stay tuned.
All right.